everybody. I'm Lynn Petrock, Senior Editor, Progressive Grocer, and welcome to Top Women in Grocery. It's a podcast focused on the trends, topics, and interests that move women forward at grocery retail. We spotlight extraordinary women in the grocery industry who's had successful careers and interesting lives and who work to make a positive impact on their workplaces and community. And today, I'm so excited to be talking with Nicole Zube. She's EVP and Chief Human Resources Officer at SpartanNash. Welcome, Nicole.
Hi, Lynn. I'm so glad to be here.
You too. Thank you so much for joining us. A little bit of background on you. Nicole was promoted very recently in March 2024 to her current position as EVP and CHRO. She joined SpartanNash in September 2022 as a Senior Vice President, hired to advance the company's People First strategy to attract, develop, and retain top talent. Prior to SpartanNash, she served as head of HR, U.S. Commercial at Kellogg Company. She worked in a variety of human resources roles during her decade-long tenure at Kellogg, including a 3-year stint in the United Kingdom, where she was Senior HR Director for the European Supply Chain and Senior HR Director, European Talent and Diversity. Prior to Kellogg, she worked in various HR positions during an 8-year career at Procter & Gamble. Nicole earned her bachelor's degree from Northern Kentucky University and her master's degree from Xavier University, and she is also a past Top Woman in Grocery Award winner.
I am. 2015. Yeah. That was such a cool award.
Yeah, that is. So we're very excited to have our TWIGs on with us and talk about great things that are happening in the industry and in your personal careers. So congratulations again on your performance. And I know being people first is so central to SpartanNash. It's pretty much, been a huge focus for the past few years. And you're right there in the thick of it with your chief people role. So to you, Nicole, what does people first mean? I know it means, it's defined in the company, but what does it mean for you as a leader?
For me as a leader, people first isn't just the words that we say, it's the actions that we live every single day. And so for us at SpartanNash, being people first means that we do what's best for the greater good of our organization, not just for specific individuals. Mm-hmm. And so we focus on really being servant leaders to our associates who delight our customers every single day. And we do things that really make folks feel special and makes folks feel valued for the work that they do. So I feel really proud of that. We also make sure that we continuously raise the bar in how we develop and we invest in our people. And so the first thing we do is invest in making sure we have great work environment for our associates, make sure that we're competitive as relates to pay and to benefits, and just making people know and see that, we can only thrive as an organization if we have really great associates. So that's what it means to us. And I'm super proud of the fact that, again, we live it every single day of what we do here.
Well, and I can attest to that. I live not far from your headquarters. I am a family fare shopper myself. So I can attest to that. Just, you get to be on a first name basis with some of the associates. And so, kudos, because it does show up in the stores. And it's something that I see when I'm there.
Yes, our people really are the differentiator for us, and a value that we have, our behavior that we talk about is we serve, and we really care about serving our customers. And we also are really special that we serve our military business. So I don't know if a lot of people know this, but a special part of SpartanNash is also that we are a wholesaler to the U.S. military. Yes. And so how food gets into our exchanges and into the commissaries is through SpartanNash. So we just feel it's amazing that we can serve those who serve our great country.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people don't really realize that's part of your structure, your three kind of prong structure there. So that's great. That's great work. Yes. And getting people access to the food and whether they're deployed or whether they're there, it's absolutely mission critical for sure. Mm-hmm. And in your industry, in our industry, recruitment and retention have been such a focus over the past few years, right? I mean, it's not as bad as it was a couple of years ago, but it's for an industry that really prides itself on having 30, 35, 40, 50-year people in certain positions. We want to keep that going. So why do you think you've been so successful in helping SpartanNash hit its KPIs for retention, Nicole?
Yeah, I was in CPG for a really long time. And so coming over to retail, it was quite a shock when I started to look at some of the numbers. And then I also think the world is just a really different place post-COVID. I mean, the retail industry through COVID, it was just really challenging. So we believe that, when you set goals that you understand what they are and measure and track them, then you can likely hit those results. So for us, we focus on 90-day new hire retention. So we have found that if somebody stays with us 90 days, they're 4 times more likely to stay for 1 year. And once we hit that 1 year mark, our turnover is very, very low as an organization. And so we're really focused on that 90-day new hire metric. And we set goals by location and down into each department level as well. So everyone is very clear on what we expect. And those that are doing really well, they continue to have stretch goals. And those that are a little bit behind get some goals that can help the broader organization. And so for us, measuring that, and we created like a dashboard that people can go in real time and understand how they're doing each week or each period to see how they're trending. That has really helped. We've also focused on our onboarding plans and making sure that people have great technical training so that when they come in, they understand what to do. But before they even start, we focus on doing realistic job previews so people understand, what does that look like? What's going to be expected of me if I would get this position? And people have the opportunity to opt in or opt out based upon what they've learned. And then finally, what I'd share that we've implemented since I've been here that I'm proud of is we launched competencies in our organization, which talk about the skills we feel every associate needs to demonstrate to be successful. We've launched 4 for all associates and then another 4 for all people leaders. So we're also very clear on what leadership is expected. So we built that all into our development plan, but we've also put that into our interviewing and selection process. So we've gotten a lot more tight around what are we looking for in terms of transferable skills that people would need to have, and then how would we train those skills once they join us. So a combination of all of those things has helped us reduce turnover by 12% last year. And this year we're already trending at another 5 to 6% improvement over the previous year.
That's great in this environment too. And are you finding different things across demographics? Do you do something with the younger associates who are a little more tech savvy and can get kind of like training that way and have different approaches to positivity and encouragement? Are you doing anything maybe adjusting that way, or is this kind of something you do across the board, Nicole?
Yeah, so for us, making sure we're adjusting to all the different generations in the workforce is important for us, not just so we retain people, but also so we create a culture that people feel that they belong and they can do their best work here. So for us, another tool that we have launched in the time that I've been here has also been LinkedIn Learning, which is available for all associates, and they're able to go in and do any sort of training that they want that interests them or piques them. We've created learning paths linked to the competencies that I talked about, but people can also go in and do any topic that interests them. And that's also been really helpful. And we've gotten some great feedback and uptick since we've brought out that platform and program to the company.
And there is a culture of just syncing things across your culture, across the board. I love the flying in formation theme, as well, that's part of SpartanNash, but it's kind of infused top down across, right? Is that something that it's very purposeful?
Yeah, we have a summit every year where we bring our top leaders together. And one of the themes was this idea of flying in formation, and that each of us has such a unique role that we play. It's not just the senior leaders, it's every single one of us in the organization. And so as we've come in as a new leadership team, we focus very heavily on breaking down the silos and, again, doing what's best for the company overall and making sure that we're really clear around the goals we're setting, the strategies we're getting after. And one of the areas I'm really proud of that we do is, as it relates to goal setting, all of our associates link their individual goals to the company goals. And so as we get our surveys back on what we're doing really well, that's actually where we score really, really high, is in the goal setting aspect. People understand how they fit in terms of, making our mission come true, where we see a day that our customers can't live without us, and the tactics that we're going to do over the course of each year to make that happen. And so we've done a really nice job of connecting our associates to our overall strategy to fly in formation.
Well, is it going to be a different theme this year? Do we have to stay tuned?
Yes, we'll have a different
summit?
theme this year.
Right. Okay.
Stay tuned. It's in October. So
okay. I was. It's hard to top that one. I remember the aviator glasses. They were kind of like top daddy. Well, it was cool. It was cool.
Oh, what you don't see behind me is I have I wonder if I could turn it, but there's
Yeah.
a Blue Angels yellow helmet behind me with my
Oh,
call
cool.
symbol on it. So each of the leadership team got a call symbol, and
Hmm.
mine is Spike because I played volleyball in
Oh,
college. And
awesome.
yeah, I guess I've been known to be a little spiky in my conversation, a little sassy sometimes. So, but I like to
Yeah.
think it's because I was a volleyball player.
Oh, yeah. And then guess what? When you spike, you get the point. So you have everybody else
Exactly. We're
scrambling
winning
while
over
you
here.
get it. That's right. That's right. I like that. I like that. You can keep goose, like Spike. That's
Yes, yes.
fantastic.
Our CEO Tony loves iced tea, so we call him Big
Mm.
T TEA. So that's
That's
his call
funny.
symbol, which is pretty
That
funny.
is great. I love that. Well, we'll stay
Yes.
tuned for that. And you talked about goal setting being something that you're very proud of, Nicole. Is there another program that you and your team have launched that you look back and you're like, yeah, that was great?
Gosh, there's so many. I have a
I
really
know.
amazing team. I'm super blessed to have a really great team. There's probably two that stick out to me. I would say the first is we have what's called SpartanNash University, where we have different leadership development programs depending on your trajectory within the company and where you sit. A lot of it is focused on our leaders because, as you know, your work experience is heavily driven by your people leader, supervisor, and
Yeah.
what you're doing. And so we have a program that's dedicated to all frontline leaders, both
Hmm.
in supply chain and in retail, that we focus on. We also have programs for people who aren't people leaders but aspire to do that. We have
Hmm.
a rotational program for those that are early in career, and then we have a development program for those that are more senior in the organization. And so we kind of have a university system that people can kind of grow up and graduate throughout. And it's a pretty robust program that can take anywhere from 5 to 8 months to go through. So it's very rigorous and robust, and that helps us to fly information. So that's one thing I'm
Yeah.
proud of. The second thing I would say that we've brought in has been our internship program. So we have 110 interns that are going to be starting next
Wow.
Monday. But last year we
Okay.
had 105 interns. We are 65% diverse from 41 different colleges. And
Wow.
so we are really invested in bringing in the next generation of leaders into retail, into the food solutions company, and helping us convert those into full-time associates here. And so we've gotten rave reviews on our program, and we've been doing a really nice job in the internship space.
That's great. And those really are future leaders. And they're across functions, or do you have some in HR
Yeah,
too?
mix of across
Hmm.
all functions.
Hmm.
We do have them in retail where they're actually directly in the stores as well.
Hmm.
And so that experience is a bit different, as you can imagine, than a corporate experience. But we have them in the stores as well.
And that'll go all the way through through August or so, right? Yeah.
Yep. They start May 20th and they leave in the beginning of August. And then we have a program where in each function, they get to self-nominate the strongest intern, and they actually present to our executive leadership team what they did over the summer. And they also have a
Hmm.
capstone project that they do with a few different students together. And we get to see those at the end of the year. And that's always pretty great to see.
That's super rewarding. And are some of those from your previous programs? I would imagine now SpartanNash team members too. They're flying in formation too, right? You bring some on as well full time.
Yes, we do.
Hmm.
And this year, and even in the HR function, we just converted 3 into my team. So
That's
excited to
awesome.
have them join right after graduation. Now is graduation season as
Hmm.
well. And we like to think of ourselves as a great place for people to start their career and stay with us.
Hmm.
Something that I launched last year was what we call our people philosophy, which really
Hmm.
started to anchor to, from a talent perspective, what are the things that matter to us at SpartanNash? And so we inspire careers for a better life. That's kind of our tagline as it relates to our people philosophy. But then we have things in there like, we believe what you do is equally as important to how you do it. We
Hmm.
believe that careers are co-created between leaders and their associates. We believe we invest in people based upon their performance potential and aspiration, and have some ways that we define that. So there's been some things that we've done as well to make sure that we have a consistent approach as we think about converting interns, having people grow their career here, and how we invest in the great talent that we have.
And have you brought in, well, I'm sure you have, like what have you brought in from your CPG background to kind of, maybe it's the internship program, maybe it's all these amazing other people-centric programs, but how's that kind of giving you a different perspective, perhaps, that maybe has been there before? And how does that also reflect SpartanNash's unique structure as an organization?
Yeah, I feel it's so great to move to a different industry and experience grocery. One of the things I was blessed with so many great experiences at Kellogg and at P&G. And I was able to see our business before I joined here from many different lenses. And no matter where I sat, whether it was in a corporate headquarters or it was in a manufacturing center or it was in another country, this idea of really servant leadership is, being there for the front line, making sure that you're in service truly of others. That is not so important in this industry. For us, we have 17,000 associates and 90% of those are frontline. So we're here in service of them. And I learned that from both companies that I was at, and that really shaped and molded me. And the great leaders we have here are just the same. The other thing that I would say that I've learned is CPGs have a lot more infrastructure, and I find retail to be a lot more scrappy and fast-paced. And
that's a good word for it.
That's exciting too. But that infrastructure that you have from CPG, I've been able to take a lot of those learnings, particularly as it relates to the talent practices, and apply them here, but be a little bit more nimble because the needs are very different depending on how that may show up. So we have several different banners within SpartanNash. You talked about how you shop at a family fair. A family fair is very different than a D&W, very different than a Forest Hills Foods, and all these different banners we have. And so we need to be quite flexible as we think about the HR practices that we use here. And I've learned a lot in terms of things that have worked and maybe not worked so great, thinking that I could just reapply that. But life is all about the journey. Either, instead of winning and losing, it's like, what did you learn out of that? And so I've learned a lot in the time that I've been here. And I like to think our organization has learned a lot as well, and we're better for it.
And you're still a relatively young leadership team in terms of, maybe, was it 3 or 4 years, maybe that altogether, under Tony's leadership, right? I don't remember the time quite exactly, but that's kind of exciting and dynamic too, that you have all these great leaders coming into an organization at the similar time.
Yeah. So Tony has been here 3.5 years. I was the last executive to join about 18 months ago. And whenever I do interviews, which I do a lot of interviews, I always say, and I believe it with my heart, it's just such an exciting time to be here at SpartanNash. The majority of our executives are first-time executives. So with that comes a little bit of grace, a little bit of, we all are growing together. And we have a concept here that we all believe in for those that join the leadership team, which is first team. So our first team is actually our executive team, because if we're not being aligned as a team and doing what's best for the company holistically, then we're not leading the way that we should. And then our second team is our own team, laddering up to what we agree to. And so all of us have had to buy into that. But it's not just buying in, we believe it. And I'm just so proud to stand beside the executive leadership team here and have the great opportunity to work with and learn from Tony. In my space, he loves people. So he's very invested. He was walking down the hall today and just checks in. We talk constantly. And it's great. Nice to have a leader that truly cares about people and truly cares about the communities that we serve as well.
And that really trickles down throughout the whole organization. And the HR function itself is inherently servant leadership, right? So you're that way within your executive team because you serve others on the executive team in that way. And then you do kind of across the board. So do you really enjoy that part of what you do, Nicole?
Yeah, I love it. I feel like this was made for me. I don't know if you could have. I don't know if I would tell my younger self that, but I just feel so honored and so blessed to be able to do the things I get to do every single day. It's better than I could have ever dreamed. So I feel very lucky.
And you probably never have a typical day, which is probably is kind of, it makes it's already dynamic, but it probably makes it even more so, right? There's in that function, it's never ordinary.
No, and that's what I love about it. I actually was
Mm-hmm.
pre-med when I was in college, and I thought that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
either be a physical therapist or go be a doctor. And then I was like, well, I actually want something that has a little bit of variety. And so I have that every single day.
Oh, I'm sure.
When you deal with people, actually the craziest things happen in grocery stores. That's what I have learned,
Well,
especially
yeah.
after hours. But yeah, it's no day is the same. And it's a mix of strategy, like thinking about
Mm-hmm.
where do we want to go as an organization and how do we dream big and help us get there. And also
Mm-hmm.
very tactical around how are we doing the right fundamental things to make sure that no matter where you sit within SpartanNash, or if you are a customer or if you're a shopper, what does that look like for you? And so, yeah, no day is ever the same.
Well, even when you had something, made a lot of news was made last week over someone living in a sign at family fair, but the company made it so positive, making a donation, helping the person out. And I think that so speaks to you, not just the unusual things that happen in the industry, but it speaks to the heart, and it really speaks to the people first of the things you do. So what an illustration of that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it just shows the compassion that we have in our
Yeah.
organization. I'm just so proud, and also our
Hmm.
commitment to the communities that we
Yeah.
are a part of. Like we really,
Hmm.
again, that goes back to the people first that we talked about. I mean,
Truly.
it's not
Yeah.
just, hey, we're saying we're compassionate. It's like there's a really great example of
Hmm.
where there's different things that we could have done, and we leaned in with
Hmm.
compassion for that person and for the
Yeah.
community there. So
And it's authentic. And I think that resonates with customers. And it's not, a lot of times there's canned things or things you could say, but you really can tell that that's authentic across the board. And, whether it's that someone greeting someone while they're at Starbucks in the morning inside your stores, or something broader for the community. So it really shows. So that's great. And you talked a little bit about younger people and kind of passing it on. So, do you have advice for younger women who are entering grocery or entering HR? What would you, if you had to tell your younger self or these younger people, Nicole? What would you say?
I would say dream big. I think
Hmm.
you got to put your dreams out in the universe and you got to go for them. I think that the other thing I would say is one of the best things I ever did in my career is I actually got a coach. I got a coach about
Hmm.
3 or 4 years ago. One of the things that I did with him is I really took some time to assess the values that really matter to me. And I took
Hmm.
the time to understand what my why. Why do I do the things I do every day? Why do I get out of bed? What gives me the right energy? And I think if you can know that about yourself, you can figure
Hmm.
out how to find that in the organization that you're in, or to utilize that as your superpower. The other thing that it
Hmm.
really helps with that is in times of conflict. I find a lot of times that other people's values may have rubbed up against my own values, and if you can kind of also see the strengths that that person is bringing to you or to that situation, it really can help you
Hmm.
navigate through that because there's conflict in everything that you do. So I'd say dream big, know yourself, know your values, and get to know your why. That can really help you understand where you want to go.
And I like that. Getting to know your why isn't just about when you're launching. It's about, different points throughout your career and remembering why, because some of us do the same thing for years and decades, decades, but
Yes.
having that, recognizing that you need to have that introspection to discover your and remember your why.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah. My why is called results the right way. It's just a statement. And if I
yeah.
looked back at my entire career, the things that I've been able to do and the things I hope to do, it's all around creating results and doing it in the right way that sticks and maintains. And
Hmm.
and that's just what works for me. And it shows that how you do things is just as important as what you do. And that's how I live every single day.
Well, your interns have a lot they can learn from you, Nicole, this summer for sure, and everyone
Yes,
that
I
works
hope
for
I
you.
live up to the hype.
Yeah.
Next week they start on Monday, and I
Okay.
have to take them through my career journey. So a cool thing we do
Okay.
here is every executive leadership team member actually comes and talks to them about their career path and what they did, and we answer questions.
Hmm.
But I'm always up first since it's our program
Oh,
at
golly.
HR.
You are people first,
Yes,
right? Yeah, you
yes.
really are in that sense. Gosh. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Nicole. It was just fantastic conversation, very insightful. So we appreciate you.
Oh, Lynn, thanks for your time. So glad to be here. Thank you.
Sure. And if anyone listening or watching has an idea for a TWIG podcast topic, we'd love to hear from you. So feel free to reach out to me at lptrack@ensembleiq.com. See you next time, and thank you for listening.